Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I 3D printed the Spider-Man mask from Spider-Man Brand New Day. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a step-by-step tutorial, walking you guys through every step in the process that it took to make this helmet, including where to get the files from, what filaments I used, the settings in my slicer, and the post-processing that it took to make this helmet. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into the video. So first things first, for the STL file that you're going to need to 3D print this helmet, I got this file from Do3D, and right now on their website, they actually have two different models for this mask. The first one is the full face coverage, just the normal mask that you see in the trailer, and this lifted version of the mask, which you can see in this clip of the trailer right here, where Peter has the mask above his head. So if you wanted to do a cosplay of this suit, but you don't want to have to wear a mask the entire time you're doing it, you can print off this version of the mask, which will give you a more realistic look to your cosplay rather than just not having the mask at all, especially if you don't like your face being covered while you're at a Comic-Con or whatever it is that you're doing. But for today's video, I'm only going to be focusing on the full face covered mask version of this model. And Do3D always has a bunch of sales going on their website, a lot of 50% off, 40% off, buy one, get one free sales for their models. But if you can't find anything, just Google discount codes for Do3D and you're usually able to find one. Normally this file is $29.99, but I got mine at a 50% discount. So around $15 for the model is what you're looking at spending. And as for the filament, I use Polymaker's Red Matte PLA. I think this is like the closest looking filament that you can get for any sort of fabric mask, and it matches the color perfectly for this specific model. It also is a really good color for the Deadpool 3 mask, so if you want to print off that one in a pretty accurate looking color red, that's a good option as well. And the black and white is just a generic PLA. Any black or white filament will do for the lenses. So for the printers that I use my Anycubic Cobra S1 and my Anycubic Cobra X. I use the S1 for the larger pieces just because I trust the Core XY printer more for the larger parts of the model. And the Cobra X handled the lenses perfectly, no issues there. And now here are some of the settings that I use, and basically all you're gonna wanna make sure that you do is whenever you use supports, using tree supports, I printed this at a 0.16 layer height, and whatever layer height you have it as, change the top Z distance to double that number. So if you're printing at 0.2, change the top Z distance to 0.4. This will just make it a lot easier to remove the supports off of the parts. Everything went pretty smooth. I pretty much just printed everything straight up, turned on tree supports, let it do its thing. I didn't mess with the supports and the contact zones and all that. But the only issue that I was having was the back of the helmet was a lot harder to print off than the front. So what I actually ended up doing was cutting it in the slicer itself in half and then just flipping both of the pieces on the flat side. And this made it 10 times easier to print. I was really hoping that I wasn't gonna have to do this, but as you guys can see, I had a couple of issues. A lot of spaghetti coming off my printer, which I haven't had in a long time. I just let it run, and then eventually when I went and checked, it was still doing it. So a little disappointing, but we got there. It worked out fine. So real quick, I wanted to just go ahead and show you guys how easy it is to remove the supports on this helmet with the settings that I have in my slicer, and also how cool this support looked for some reason. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up for you guys, that way you guys can see it real quick. And really the ease of removing the supports on this helmet just comes down to that top Z distance setting that I showed you guys in the slicer settings. Just giving it a little bit extra room between the support and the model interface allows for much more ease of use whenever you're trying to remove those supports. And because I sliced the back of the helmet in half, there was basically no supports whatsoever on those pieces, so that's an advantage to doing that. I also applied those same support settings on my Cobra X whenever I was printing off the pieces for the lenses, and as you guys can see, the supports come off like they're nothing. So I didn't actually weigh the support material on a scale, but from the slicer, it does say that I used about 100 grams total material for the supports. Now on the top of the back part of the helmet, you can see that the support interface was a little bit rough. The supports actually broke off mid-print. And I just want to show you guys how you can clean up these small imperfections that the support contacts can leave on your prints. This is kind of an old school trick, but just taking a soldering iron and just resting it and sliding it slowly and consistently across the print will allow it to just completely smooth out. You're basically just smoothing the print by melting the plastic. And another thing I used my soldering iron for was connecting the two parts of the back of the helmet together. And this is called solder welding, another old school trick that cosplayers use when 3D printing. And all you're going to do is basically just fuse the two pieces together. So the first thing I did was fuse the two sides of the back of the helmet together, so that way I knew that it was aligned properly. Then I went ahead on the inside of the helmet, and about every 1/4 inch I just went and fused the two parts together, eventually creating like a stitching sort of pattern along the inside of the helmet. And once it was completely secured, I just wanted to make sure that it was never going to come apart, so I just went ahead and grazed the soldering iron across the entire stitching pattern. And for me, I like doing this a lot more than glue because glue can leave behind a residue. It gets messy, it can discolor the print, so this is just a lot cleaner and a lot quicker than having to worry about glue. And finally, the last thing I used the soldering iron for was connecting the mesh to the black part of the lens. Once again, just fitting the two parts together, then using the soldering iron along the outside of the mesh to fuse the two parts into one. And honestly, for me, the biggest advantage of using the soldering iron over glue is you don't have to wait for anything to dry. It pretty much just cures instantly. So now to install the magnets. These are the magnets that I used. I got this multi-pack off of Amazon, and I will be tagging all of these different products on the video. And to secure the magnets into place, I use this super glue gel from Gorilla Glue. This is definitely the easiest super glue to use by far for props. And you're just going to be putting the tiniest dab that you possibly can in all of the inserts for the magnets around the helmet. Letting the glue set for about 30 seconds to get tacky. Then just go ahead and slide in each of the magnets. As you guys can see, I kind of like to just slide it from the side to make sure that I don't get any glue in my fingers. And so that way they're properly seated into place. Once all of those are installed, go ahead and let them dry for a little bit. I usually like to wait about an hour or two just to make sure that they're really secured in there. Then using the other magnets that you have on hand, go ahead and just let them drop onto the magnets that are already set into place. And that will show you the polarization that you will need for the other side of the helmet. Now for the final part of this build is coloring in the webbing along the entire mask. And for this, all I used is a normal black Sharpie. I used this on a couple of other projects. It's a lot easier than paint, and it saves a lot more filament than trying to do a multi-filament or multicolor print. And it comes out phenomenal. As you guys can see, the left side of the back of the helmet's done. Makes it look so much different, really completes the look of this mask. And once I got onto the front, I ended up getting a king size Sharpie just because it was a little bit easier. It covered a little bit more of the webbing, so I was able to do it in like 1 or 2 strokes. And I just went back and forth a little bit just to make sure that there was no red left behind. And honestly, this was probably the most time-consuming part of this entire build, was just doing the webbing. Besides this mask is by far one of the easiest for beginners getting into prop making, or if you're learning how to get into 3D printing, definitely a really good project to start with. And once you're finished with that, you just have to connect all of the pieces together and your mask is done. So yeah, that is how I made the Spider-Man mask from Spider-Man Brand New Day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a thumbs up and comment what helmet or mask you guys would like to see me make next. Consider subscribing for more 3D printing content. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.